Hello there folks, welcome back to a Chap Reviews. My name is Ash and it's my job here to tell you of my views, maybe somewhat unusual as a 55-year-old British middle-aged man, of a movie, oh, and here's my cat, Indiana, to help me today, of a movie I've recently seen. And this week I went to see a movie called Roofman. Now I know it's been out a week or two, but I've been out of the scene for a little while and I was catching up on my films. And I thought this was one which would keep me pleasantly entertained one afternoon. And I was right, actually. It's not a bad little movie. And it's actually a movie, what would you call it? It's something of a crime comedy movie. I wouldn't say it's laugh out loud hilarious, but it's certainly got some crime in it. And it is light-hearted. Although it is actually based on a factual story. There was a burglar called Jeffrey Manchester, which is the character being, the main protagonist in our movie, that is being played by Channing Tatum, who plays the role rather well. I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan of his previous work, but this one, I think he was the right person for the role. So just to say that. The story, as I say, loosely based on real life, but in essence, our character, Jeffrey Manchester, is a US military veteran, right? He's been in the military, he's experienced things overseas. His life has been somewhat challenged, maybe in transition. He's divorced, he's got 3 young children, and his problem is that he's really finding it difficult to live up to the expectations of supporting his family. We see him at the beginning at one of his daughter's birthday party, and he gives her an old Meccano set that he had from his own childhood because he simply doesn't have the money to buy her the present, a bike that she wants. This wounds him. He's deeply humiliated by this, and he decides to use his military acquired skills and turn to the criminal path in life. And from that point on, he becomes a burglar, right? So basically, he commits 40 plus burglaries of commercial premises by breaking in through the roof. Hence, the name of this movie and his nickname throughout the movie is Roofman, because he makes his point of entry through the roof, steals things, sells it on. Now, for a point, it seems to be working out for him. We see him in a much bigger house, and we see him at his daughter's birthday party, and he is giving her the bike that she wants. However, the police turn up, he gets arrested, and he's sentenced to quite a lengthy, I can't remember, like 20 or 30 years imprisonment. And then we catch up with him. He's an inmate in prison. However, he might be down, but he's not totally out. He uses his military acquired skills and his mental acumen. Apparently he's a sort of fabulous observer of the things around him. And he stages an escape from prison. He does so by, secreting himself in a void underneath a delivery truck, and he escapes. And he escapes into the local community. He contacts an old friend of his who he knows is a criminal, who can set him up with a false passport to get him out of the country. And his buddy says to him, look, the mistake many criminals make is they try and get as far away as they can from their point of escape. The secret is to hide in plain sight, just hunker down, give it a month or so, come back to me and we'll do what we can. And chance has it, he's walking around, police car pulls up near him, he panics, he walks into a Toys R Us branch, on a sort of commercial estate, and he has this memory, hide in plain sight. He hides behind a display which has a sort of a void space behind it, and remarkably, he lives in this space for a number of months. Uses the things that are available to him within the store, children's bedding, things like that. He eats the candy and things which are in that store. That becomes his form of sustenance. He sort of bypasses the security cameras, so nobody knows he's there. He only comes out at night, he sleeps in the daytime. He's got this bizarre nocturnal existence where nobody knows. He's living amongst them, but nobody knows he's there. Over time, he's aware of one of the cashiers, or one of the women working, an assistant in the store, paid by Kirsten Dunst. And she's, I think she's divorced or a widow, I can't remember which, but she's got two daughters, and she seems to be a very kind-hearted person. He hears her talking about toys for a toy drive. The manager of the store, played by Peter Dinklage, is not a very nice character. He declines to give her some toys as a donation from the store for this toy drive. Our character, Geoffrey Manchester, Channing Tatum, he decides to remedy that. He takes some toys and donates them. And in so doing, he bumps into some people from the church. They invite him in, and he actually forms a bond with this community, this sort of church community. And Kirsten Dunst becomes romantically involved with him during the unfolding of this sort of dual life he's living. You know, he comes out from the store, lives a bit of a life, then goes back and hides in this void in the retail space of the store. And this progresses. Now, the time ticks by, and he gets back in touch with his buddy who's going to provide for him a false passport. And the kind of culmination of the story is he chooses to go back and say goodbye to this sort of pseudo-family that he has built with Kirsten Dunst's character and her two daughters. He becomes ensconced within their little family unit, and it becomes quite, probably one of the happiest times of his life. But it comes to an end. I'm not going to spoil how it ends. Suffice to say, the man, the actual guy, still remains in prison in the US to this day, and he's still some time away from obtaining parole and getting out into the civilian world. But it's a nice story, well told, well acted, and I watched it on a wet, drab afternoon, and I actually really came out of the cinema smiling, having enjoyed the 90 minutes of this movie. So I'm going to give this one 3.5 stars, or bowler hats, I call them, don't I? 3.5 bowler hats out of 5. Really fun, really enjoyable, good acting, good storyline. I hope you'll enjoy it. And I hope I'll see you at my next review, which will be coming up in the next week or so. So until then, take care, and I will see you again very soon.